This is the Macho Man Randy Savage, yeah. And you're watching the Taco Tuesday broadcast with your host, Hero77. And he is the cream of the crop, and the cream always rises to the top. Ooh, yeah.
Taco John's wants you to have a happy holiday, the Mexican way, with Nachos Navidad. Lots of fresh-made corn tortilla chips, piled high and topped with all kinds of delicious things. Nachos Navidad from Taco John's. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. And from Taco John's.
Hey, what is going on, everyone? And Feliz Navidad. Indeed, this is your host with the most that likes to raise his glass and say a toast. Hebrew77, along with Sagittariusly speaking. And guess who's joined us here tonight? The one, the only, the man with the plan, the dad that looks good in plaid. Good old Keith's dad.
Oh, I'm stealing that one. That is really good. The dad that looks good in plaid.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to renegotiate my contract. I don't get the cool intros and stuff. I just always get like the leftovers.
In fact, that's probably going on my channel on the about page. Like.
Well, Sagi, maybe one day, maybe I'll come up with something. But Sagi just doesn't really rhyme with anything.
Yeah, I guess you do have a point there. But I do kind of. I mean, if life is the peanuts, I always feel like Charlie Brown for some reason.
Well, you're the leftover meatloaf that's in the refrigerator that no one wants to touch because it's mostly just like crusty edges and dry skin on top.
Yeah, with like questionable onions sticking out on the side. Yeah.
Yeah. No, man.
I see. I can't say anything bad because Sagi, you're like the cornerstone of the entire broadcast.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'll take that compliment and run with it, and I'll put that on my about page.
There you go. There you go. No, I rib you, of course, but you know how I truly feel.
Right. Well, yeah. You like me just a little bit better than Lothar 900, right?
Yeah, just slightly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, but not quite as much as you like Michael Fontaine. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of names that were just thrown around like they're just like a pair of underwear, we've got Philo Fire. Philo Fire.
Oh, you throwing her name around like a pair of underwear for?
Because underwear is just light and you can just toss it anywhere, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say dirty underwear. It could be clean underwear,
Oh, okay. Yeah, you didn't specify. Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
So we got Keith's dad hanging out in the chat as well. You got bear lambskin in there.
Bear lambskin.
That's awfully specific, isn't it? Yeah.
I guess it's better than lamb bearskin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got good old Michael Fontaine.
Good old Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine.
Oh man, you sound country there. You must be Carlo Monsanto's second cousin.
Carlos Monsanto. That's a good one, Sanji. I got to admit.
No, actually, Philo Fire. I was looking up words that rhyme with Philo Fire, and so far I got dryer, attire, choir, supplier, and acquire. So,
but you have to say two of them at a time, yeah, like fire attire or yeah.
I would hire Philo Fire
if she was wearing the right fire attire.
Wearing the right attire, yeah. Yeah, you're more like cotton panties, Philo Fire. Like I don't know why, but like
Yeah, I want to see you talk your way out of this one.
you're definitely not granny panties. I'll say that much. You know, like I don't know why, but I imagine not Victoria's Secret like cotton panties, but more like Walmart cotton panties. You know?
You mean Hanes?
Yeah, just like that. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not saying like she's not tip top condition, but I'm just saying I just don't imagine her. Never mind.
I got one more. I got one more.
Yeah, imagining. Yeah, using the. Yeah, you're going down a slippery slope there, my friend.
Yeah, it's slippery, more slippery than a snail who has crawled across a marble floor.
Yeah, well, that's a metaphor. Come save us here, Keystad. I know you got something.
Right.
Yeah, I do. I say, right, here we go. Right. We all desire Philo Fire.
Hey.
Yeah.
Good say.
Very well said. I am always glad that she's here, and it does give us a lot of moral support knowing there are a select few who we can count on to be here, for every broadcast, and she is definitely on that list. Unless Hebrew figures out a run her off with, coming up with ways he imagines her.
No, well, no, that I just no. Hey, DD74 is here.
Oh, DD74. Okay, yeah, all right.
DD74 is.
I want more DD74.
All right. Shut the door and don't ignore the chat room now has DD74.
Oh, okay. I bow to you, Sagi. That was good.
I got one, I think. Go insane for Michael Fontaine. Because he take his words, what he says, in vain.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, anybody else in the chat room?
Well, there's bear lambskin, like I said.
Yes, bear lambskin.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should look and see what everybody's saying.
Yeah, you should. They're having a blast in there, actually, I do believe. I think it's all good fun and games until someone throws their dirty panties in your eye, and then,
Yeah.
See what I did there? I came right back to it.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever been in that situation where like you're in a hurry, right? Like your alarm clock goes off late, or like you have to be at a meeting in 10 minutes, or whatever the case may be. You can't dally, and it's closer to laundry day than you would like it to be, and you find a couple questionable garments of clothing, and you have to do the quick sniff test to see if you're going to be able to pull it off or not. Have you ever done the sniff test?
Yes, I have done the sniff test. But I usually do that with my pants. Like, I don't usually wear the same underwear maybe more than twice.
Yeah, I'm not going to sniff test underwear. Yeah, that's probably not happening. But a t-shirt or a pair of pants or a hoodie or something like that. Yeah.
Well, sweatshirts. In my opinion, you get sweatshirts that go over clothes. Anything that kind of goes over the clothes that are touching your skin, usually have a 2 to 3 day shelf life. Jeans, on the other hand, are different. That's a different beast. Jeans are good for like a week.
Yeah, I've done like 4 or 5 days on the same pair of jeans before.
Depends on
that's what they're made for.
Get sweaty or not, though.
True.
Yeah.
Now I do that with jeans. I go, are these jeans still good? Yep, still good. All right, let's go.
And if it comes down to a pair of socks with a hole in it, or the socks you wore yesterday, what do you usually choose?
I have no socks with holes in them.
Well,
I can't
Oh
tolerate
man,
that. I
I tell
can't.
you what, yeah, I'm the same way, man. I put a pair of socks on, they got a hole in them. Sometimes I will try to like switch it, like pull them down to where the toes aren't like
mhm.
sticking out. But
Yeah, like you
if I
maneuver the hole so it's not in the place that made
yeah,
the hole, right? Yeah.
but I will say this, man, if I got a hole in my socket, my toe is through there, and it's like that for any amount of time during the day, that drives me crazy. I got to take them
I
off.
know,
I'm like,
right? I would rather wear a
yeah,
dirty pair of socks than a sock with a
yeah,
hole in it.
I definitely would. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what Chad has to say.
I think they're stuck on the panties still. Well, follow
Oh, okay.
virus.
Well, I can't say that I blame them. That's way more interesting than socks with holes in it.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, I know how to wash women's panties in case I ever,
Yeah, there you go. Holy socks. We used to have an old saying where I grew up at, and it's if you're wearing, you only wear holy socks on a Sunday. That was
I
our.
used to have a pair of steel toe boots that I had to wear two pair of socks in, or they would rub my feet and make them. And I worked I actually worked at the railroad at the time, and I would walk on a lot of ballast, and a lot of this particular job I had, I was always walking like on. I was either walking up one side of the ballast or down the opposite side, so I was always kind of like staggering left, like the incline was on my left, and I would get home and I would have a hole in the socks that I wore on my right foot, but not on the ones from my left foot.
Mhm.
Or maybe it's the other way around. I can't remember, but it was because of the way I was shifting my weight, right? And
Right.
and it would drive me crazy because there was nothing I could do to keep it from happening. Like I was going through socks like yesterday's. I don't know,
Well,
like sliced bread. Yeah, man, it was like
that's why
crazy.
you wear boot socks. Like anytime I wear my boots, I wear my boot socks. Like
Okay, what do you
work
mean
boots.
boot socks?
Yeah, they make special socks for just workers. Like they're called worker socks. They're
Uh-huh.
extra thick,
Okay,
like wearing boots. They make them, and you can also wear like those. I also like to wear them during the winter, like even in just regular shoes, like they're insulated.
all right,
So yeah, they help you out a lot if you have to wear boots all day.
gotcha. Well, let me tell you guys a real quick story if you don't mind.
Quick story. All right.
So I got a new TV today. All right. And I take it out of the box, and it's a Roku, little 32-inch Roku, nothing major, nothing fancy, but it's new to me, so it's exciting, right? And I got it off Walmart.com, and then it wasn't like taking the update, like it got connected to the internet and everything, but it wouldn't take the update. And so finally, I had to call the 800 number on it and go through some troubleshooting steps, and I got it to take the update. All right, so then I go to load Amazon Prime on it because I get a free subscription to Amazon Prime through my uh, Metro PCS or whatever, and so I go to activate Amazon, and it says I have to go to like Amazon dot slash TV slash activate or whatever. So I type that in my phone, and it gives me a code, and so I put that code on the TV gives me a code, and so I go to the thing, and I put the code in the thing or whatever on my phone to verify my account, and it says I have to call this 800 number because they need more. There's some type of problem with activation that I have to call this number. So I call the number, and I get this guy, India guy. So that right there is a little bit, because usually you call a place like Amazon, you don't get somebody in India. It's usually if you're dealing with, like I don't know, Walmart. But anyway, I digress. And he says, "Well, it looks like you have a pending transaction for a Apple phone and that you from Texas. We need to get that resolved off of there." And he wants me to any desk. Has me put any desk on my phone, right? So that way now he has control of my phone, right? So and I'm seeing this guy like scrolling through my thing, and he's like, "Well, where's your Amazon app for buying? For like making purchases?" I'm like, I don't ever make Amazon. I just use Amazon Prime." He's like, "Well, we got to look at this pending transaction." So I go ahead and I install it. And while I'm installing it, he's asking me if I have a debit card and what bank apps I have. And I'm like, I see what's going on here. And I'm starting to realize I'm being played the fool. And so I go and I go to hit I'm like, oh shit, how can I stop him? I done gave him the AnyDesk. He can start doing whatever he wants with my phone, and so I see that he gets on around Amazon shopping app and he's looking at $500 gift cards. That's what he's browsing. I'm like, oh my god! I was like, I gotta stop this. So I go and I hit the power button, and he goes he yells at me like, don't use the power button, and in like his Indian voice, and I'm like, why? He's like, because like I need to find the $500 gift card. And I'm like, why do you need to find a $500 gift card? So I use the override button and I hit the control and the power button, which forces my phone to reset. There's nothing he can do about it. But we were tug of war, and a couple times I would try to bring up shut power and he would wave it off. We were literally playing tug of war with what screen I was going to go to. So I shut my phone off and waited about 5 minutes, turned it on, and the very first thing I did when it booted up was take off the AnyDesk app. And then I went and checked, all my purchase history and my bank account and everything. And he didn't do any damage, but I could see. And so I went back and I looked at the search. And when I typed in the Amazon Activate TV thing, I accidentally clicked on the first link that popped up and thinking it was it. But in small print, it says ad. I'm like, I fell for it. I clicked on the ad instead of scrolling down for the legit thing. And then of course I put in the thing and it worked perfectly. But I can see how lots of people fall for that all day, every day. Because I consider myself a pretty witty and cunning individual, and he almost got me.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I had somebody that kept calling my phone, and they were calling my phone all day long, and finally I answered it. And he was like, "Yeah, is this so?" Well, I think I told this story on a previous live stream, but now that Keith's dad's here, I think I'll tell it again.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Well, what do you want?" Basically, he's like, "Well, is this so and so?" And I said, "Well, no, it's because he pronounced my last name wrong." I'm like, "No, it isn't. This is," and I corrected him, and so he goes, "Well, I need your date of birth and the last digits is your social." I'm like, "Why do you need the last digits of my social?" And blah, blah, blah. He's like, "Well, I need to verify that it's you." I'm like, "Well, you called me, didn't you?" He's like, "Well, yeah, but that doesn't tell me that it's you." I'm like, "Well, what's this all about? What's the business you're talking about?" He's like, "Well, I can't tell you unless you give me those things." I'm like, "Why do I?" So we kind of went back and forth. And then finally, I'm like, "Look, dude, I don't give my personal information over the phone." I'm like, number one, if this is a scam and you're trying to scam me, I don't have a bank account, first off, and fourth not. And he goes, "Well, no, this isn't a scam." And right away, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, dude, whatever you say, whatever, blah, blah, blah." And then finally, he was like, "Well, have a good day, sir." I'm like, "Yeah, you have a good day too, motherfucker." You know,
Honest Hunter Hayden says, now Sagi knows how it feels when someone steals your laptop/phone.
yeah, man, yeah. Never trust a guy that wants to get total control of your phone. My mom did that to probably the same guy, and she was like, "Yeah, they took so much. I forget how much it was. It was like $500 or $600 out of her bank account." And she had to go through a whole bunch of stuff to get it all fixed. I'm like, Mom, anytime somebody's asking for your personal information, you got to question that, because that right there is a red flag, and it's really shady when they start going into wanting control of your phone. That's definitely a huge red flag, my man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I again, and the one thing I say is, like, I legitimately thought like it was legit simply because I got the code on my TV,
Yeah.
and I got the callback number after I typed in, well, after I thought I was on the legit Amazon site, and it came up as a screen that the code looked like it corresponded with the code that it was asking for. So they really have a good fake out thing going. I mean, like, I didn't it like I had to realize, I had to start thinking, like, how did I end up? I started doing that in my process. Like, how did I end up here? Like, did I initiate contact, like through a legitimate source, or did I come through an illegitimate? Like, I was trying, because I know that, I mean, because that's like the major factor as to whether or not you can trust the person on the other end of the line, is the legitimacy of how contact was made. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then his once he started playing tug of war with me over, what we were going to look at and do, I realized that I needed to just do a advanced override. But yeah, man, it was. I just I don't know. I don't want to go on and on and on about it, but it was definitely, there was a moment there where I went to a little bit of spider sense tingling to, oh my god, I gotta take action immediately. It was like it went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Thinking, playing devil's advocate here. I hate that word, but that's what it is. There's a bunch of videos out there about the Indian, scam market, and there was one that I watched recently about an interview with one of the workers, and the interview was interesting because it said, one of the questions what they posed to him is, why do you do this? Why don't you, get a different job that's, not illegal? And he simply said, these are the best paying jobs. They must be successful at them.
Yeah, and it's also, there's a slight cultural difference, not a little bit in India, but even more so like in Africa. Like there's like a like, how, like, when you're walking, like, you've seen videos, people walking through the bazaar, the main thing, and there's everybody's, a scam artist. Everybody is, they try to take you, like, they will give those, you think you're getting like a rare jewel, but it's really, it's worthless, or a fine cashmere robe, maybe plaid even, but it's really not cashmere at all, or knockoffs, or just, it's like it's a fair market, in the sense, like, if you get got, then you got you don't there's no there's no Better Business Bureau, or somebody that, you just got to be on, you got to be able to not get got. If you can get got, then you can get got. I mean, that's the way they look at it there. They don't have a lot of, like, remorse for getting over on somebody. It's part of doing business.
Yeah, I got a great story for that. Is I went on my honeymoon on a cruise, and one of the stops that we had was in Jamaica, and I was walking the streets, and there was a bit of like a bazaar, in a park, and we were just walking through and, looking at stuff, and I saw this ashtray, but it was such a cool looking ashtray. It looked like it was I don't know. It looked like it was, designed. It was very rock-like, and it had a Rasta man on it, and it had a little drawer that came out. And I was looking at it, and I was asking like how much of for it, and $20. Everything's $20 in Jamaica. Everything, and he goes, this is very special. You see those mountains over there, and he pointed at mountains, off in the distance, and he goes, that's the rock that was cut to make this, and it was handcrafted, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's so super interesting. $20, man. This is not. It was a nice souvenir. And then I flipped it over, and it said "Made in China." It had a sticker that said "Made in China" on it. And I was like, but it says "Made in China," and he goes, $10.
Yeah.
I did
And
buy
he
it.
wouldn't have felt the least bit bad about taking 20 for it,
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
I did end up buying it though. So
Well, all this talk about like stuff that we're talking about has made me hungry. And oftentimes, people say that they're hungry, other people say grab yourself a Snickers. Well, I say don't grab yourself a Snickers. Grab yourself a crisp Kringle. Crisp Kringles are like Nestle Crunch bars, but double coated in chocolate. And let me tell you guys something. These things are delicious. I've almost eaten out the whole box here. Oh, that sounds bad. Never mind. I said that.
is it like a Nestle Crunch bar? Is
like
that what
a
it is?
Nestle Crunch, but it's got Santa Claus on it. And I'm not going to eat one on the air, but this is a double crisp Kringle. And I got to tell you, legitimately, these things are good. They come in the traditional Santa Claus foil. And I'm not going to open this
Why
one
do I feel like I'm having deja vu here?
because you are. I've done this before, but I'm going to save this one for a movie I'm about to do. I'm about to do another Mandela Family set of videos, and of course, Mandela Family movie will be coming out sometime in February. But
Now, if I was to show up later on this evening with a big fat joint and you got a bad case of the munchies, what would be his odds of surviving to the photo shoot?
well, I don't know. They wouldn't be that great, I guess. But I just want to say, for those of you who are watching at home and those of you who are watching right now, these are really good candy bars. They are crisp Kringle candy bars. They're very cheap. You can get them at the dollar store for a couple of bucks. And not only are they delicious and nutritious, but you look on the back here, you've got cards that you can cut out there and you can put them on your Christmas presents. And like I said, they're very cheap, and you can get them, and you can put your to and from on there. And just look at him. He looks like a very happy Santa Claus. Kind of confused. He's kind of scared a little bit, but he's Santa Claus nonetheless. And it's a very candy bar. So
you say you cut that out?
You cut it out. I haven't cut it out yet, but yes, you can cut
Well,
it
I
out.
think it's for when you gift the box, Hebrew. I don't think you're supposed to cut it out.
No, you cut it out. You can cut these out, and you can actually use them as name tags. And
okay, well, I mean, I guess that's acceptable.
it's kind of like what you get on Little Debbie snack cakes on the back. I don't guess they do that anymore. But anyway, it's a very nutritious and delicious bar. So I just encourage everyone who's watching to go check those out. Crisp Kringle, double chocolatey, smooth and crispy, crunchy candy. Thank you.
Yeah, I can see like you giving your wife the little card cutout. Yeah, I bought some boxes of Crisp Kringles, and here's the little card cutout I saved for you, so I could put your name on it.
No,
That's why I'm laughing, Sagi. That is too funny.
It's like name tags. You just put them on your Christmas gifts.
I mean, again, I'm with Sagi on this. I don't think it's made to cut out. I think that's what you write to give it to somebody, like in their stocking or something.
Well, I mean that's what I do. I cut those out and I use them as Christmas name tags.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah, it's just like
do you tell them how good the crispy Kringles were when you're handing it to them?
oh yes, always, always. I do
And show them
the
the
birthday
calorie
cake.
information. And it only had
Yeah.
150 calories. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, crisp Kringle bars only have 150 calories per bar. That's 450 calories for the whole package of 3. And not only can you get these in packages of 3, but you can also get them in packages of 6, 8, or 10. So pretty good stuff.
And our show is by no means sponsored by
No, no,
but
no.
by such product, but it might as well be as much as you go. I mean, you would think it's like Mike Lindell talking about election fraud, my friend.
Well, yeah. No, I'm not in no way. They don't pay me anything. I just really like the product, and I thought maybe I'd share it with all of our audience and you guys.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, just when I had finally quit thinking about those dang Santa Claus, Kris Kringle chocolates, you go and you bring it right to the foremost thought of my brain again. So, thank you quite. And I'll just be checking the mail to see if you send me a cut out piece of cardboard and just to rub it in a little bit harder.
Hey, that's a good idea. Actually,
Use them as Christmas cards.
I should stick those in Christmas cards and mail them to people. Just the card on the back. Just cut it out. Not the candy, mind you.
No, not the candy, just the
Yeah.
card, just a flimsy old piece of cardboard. Don't even use scissors, just rip it off there. Yeah.
No, but haven't you guys seen the little Debbie snack cakes around Christmas time? They used to put the to and from cards on the back, and you cut them out, and they actually had little dotted lines where you could cut them out.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
Right,
in that
yeah.
case, yeah.
Don't you remember that?
Yeah, those I do.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Because they had
So
the
I
dotted
see.
line on them.
Yeah.
That's what like Phil Fire says, gift tags included. Oh yeah, air hockey. I hope I get a little miniature air hockey table for Christmas. That'd be awesome.
You
I
would
bought-
break a little miniature air hockey table.
What do you mean?
You would be like, I am the.
You know, I bought one last year,
Now, wait a
and
minute.
it really wasn't very good.
No?
No, it was not what I mean, they're never going to be as good as like the one in Dave and Buster's.
Oh, well, no, but my mom actually had an actual full size air hockey table that was like, a really good one. It was like I'm not even sure how much they paid for it at the time. It was like had to be over 1,000. But it was really cool. But this one, I just want some little air hockey table. I could have my neighbor come over and maybe play some air hockey or something like that. Not anything serious.
Now, I wonder if you could like somehow attach an action figure to the top of
Yes.
the air hockey like puck thing that you use, and
Uh-huh.
then you could like have them like soaring across there like they're doing things.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's possible. They're small enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be possible. By the way, Keith's dad, I'm gonna build you a. I told Sagi about this the other night. I'm gonna make you a little robe. I've already got some material cut out, and I'm gonna put it. Yes, I'm gonna put it on your little Minecraft guy.
Yay!
Yeah, finally, huh? But no, I know that Keith's dad. I know you have a personal story to share on here. I didn't know when you wanted to jump into that, but before you do that, though, I do have one more promotional deal. You guys saw the Nacho Man talking earlier, right?
The Nacho Man.
The Nacho,
Oh yeah. That was too funny.
yeah, at the beginning. So, well, apparently, the giant enchilada, had a few words to say to him, and this is about 3 minutes long. If you guys don't mind watching it,
Yeah.
I figured it would kill a little bit of time. We'd have a little bit of laughs with it, and then you get into your surreal, serious story.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see the whole enchilada, my friend.
Well, yes, the whole enchilada. All right, here it is. Here we go, guys. Brace yourselves, because this is yeah. Here it goes.
And when Hebrew says brace yourself, by all means, I'm definitely bracing myself.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, Nacho Man. You may be the Nacho Man Randy Savage selling your nachos on the side of the road down in San Diego in the Navy courtyard. But let me tell you something, brother. I am the head enchilada, and I rise above the top of everyone else. I've got the 24-inch burritos, brother, and let me ask you this. What you gonna do, Nacho Man, when the 24-inch burritos and all the enchilada maniacs runs wild on you? Ooh, you think you're the giant enchilada, do ya? Well, let me tell you something right now. Yeah. You think just because you got the 24-inch burritos that you can take on the Nacho Man and all his Nacho Maniacs? Well, you got another thing coming, Enchilada Man, because I'm the Nacho Man Randy Savage. Yeah! And I take on the giant enchilada because I'm the enchilada champion of the world. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Yeah. What are you going to do, Enchilada Man, when the Nacho Man drops the big elbow on top of you? Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Hello, everybody. This is Mean Green Okerlund, and I'm standing here with the Nacho Man Randy Savage and his opponent for Taco Tuesday, none other than the giant enchilada himself. Tonight should be a fascinating match. You've heard it from the two competitors. And I gotta tell you, it's gonna be one hell of a match indeed when this thing goes down. Don't forget, Taco Mania tonight at 8:35 Central, 9:35 Eastern Time. It's going to be something you're not gonna want to miss. This has been Mean Green Okerlund. There you go. So,
Now, why is it that like Hulk Hogan always sounds like he's like trying to get the like the head coach of a football team trying to get everybody psyched up right before the big game, like all the players, and then Nacho Man, he when he talks he sounds like he's talking to you while getting a massage.
huh. I never really thought of it that way before, but I guess you're right. You got to remember, man, it was the 80s, all that cocaine and steroids. I mean, that will do it to you.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that was very clever, and
Was
you
the
are
thing.
you're very good at the voices, but you knew that already.
Yeah, we tell him that all the time. We should just criticize when he's not good.
Yeah.
But even then, we tend to stay quiet because he's never not good. Except when he does like Deanna Troy's voice. That one,
Right.
he's always yeah, that's probably the funniest one. But he's got me down. Heck, I played a video and my grandmother the other day was like, "Oh, you have a video," and I'm like, "Is that you?" And I'm like, "No, that was Hebrew doing my voice. It wasn't me."
Oh, man. Really?
Yeah, you do. You're very good at voices.
I mean, I have to admit, I have pondered like the day, like I don't know, what age will my granddaughter be when I feel comfortable introducing her to the Hebrew and Sagi show and trying to explain to her that this is her grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, when I first, so last year, before I really knew you guys, when I first started watching um, the Mandela affected family episodes, I actually thought it was you two doing the voices because Sagi's character sounded so much like Sagi that I thought it was him.
Yeah, people think that a lot. You wouldn't be surprised. Like it took me forever to get system failure to understand that I don't do it. Like he, no matter how many times it seems like I told him, he would
Yeah.
he still thought it was me. Like I
He-
couldn't get it through his system failure brain.
Yeah, Hebrew has you nailed, Sagi. I don't know about me because I can't tell. When I listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, that's different. But that's because I hear myself differently than when I speak.
Yeah, same here. Like I sound different to myself. Like I don't think he does it as good as he does it because of just that reason. But when I do hear myself like recorded, like listen to myself on the show and stuff like that, then I realize, yeah. You see what I'm doing right now? Yeah.
What do you mean? What do I mean?
By
So-
the way, we have that clip. It's been back up on YouTube for a while now about the Thursday thing where me and Sagi was doing the pickup lines and the deep voice or the slow talking voice, and then the women's
It
voices.
was Mumble. Remember the
Mumble,
article
yeah.
said that you get better, like men are less attractive if they mumble, but women were more attractive when they mumbled.
I'll have to play a clip of that here pretty soon.
Yeah, we could revisit that again. Yeah, definitely. It does seem to be a fan favorite.
Yeah. Well, see, my Deanna Troy, I'll tell you what. the only thing I get right is sort of like her mannerisms, I guess. Like I don't really like her. Like they ask her, like Picard to be like, "So, what is this guy feeling, Deanna?" And she'll be like, "He feels mad, Captain." Well, I know he feels mad. Like that seemed to be her only place on the ship. I mean, I think that uh what's her name? Pulaski. I think Dr. Pulaski had more insight than she did.
Yeah, and she was only on for one season.
Yeah. But when
All
it
right.
comes to like psychology or whatever, it's like dang, it's like I don't know. There was very little for her to do. Seemed like so.
You ready for my story?
All right, yeah, we're here, man. We're here. My ears are open. I don't know about Sagi over there, but
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right.
So basically, let me give it set you up just a little bit here.
Oh,
Like
okay. Yeah.
for those who don't know, Keystad has been on a slight hiatus from the internet and our show, obviously, because he experienced quite a life changing event, and he's going to go ahead and discuss this such said event here with us. I don't want to steal his thunder. So go ahead, Keystad. Tell us all about it.
Oh, thank you. I like the way you put it. Life-changing event. That's two. That's two this year. This year sucked. But all right. Anyway, so yeah, here's what happened. And I have pictures. So it's more than just story time. We have picture story time. So what happened was on Saturday, 2 weeks ago, it was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. My mom held a party, a friendsgiving. She called it friendsgiving, and she wanted to start a fire in the fireplace. Now, she's never started a fire in this fireplace, like ever, and she asked me to start the fire, and I was like, okay. So I go and I get like some timber and I clean out the fireplace and stuff, and I started a fire. Well, we're gonna fast forward till 2 o'clock in the morning, and my mom is screaming at me because I'm in the basement. And I know I live in the basement, but it's an apartment. But anyway, she's screaming at me to get out. The house is on fire. And so I basically grabbed my robe, only my robe. But I'm dressed, I sleep dressed, but I don't wear my robe to bed. So I put my robe on and I went outside. And when I walked up the stairs, there was just smoke everywhere. And we ran outside, and I spent like from 2 in the morning till about 6 in the morning in snow. It was the only day it snowed here. So I was in snow with bare feet. It was horrible. It was horrible. But um, everyone is safe, everyone, including animals. And let me tell you how many animals we had. Right. So let me put it in perspective first. This is a mansion. This is a big house. This is like a 6-bedroom house, and then there's a servant's quarters, and then there's a complete apartment, in the basement. So this is a very, very large house, and I think it's got 5 fireplaces. So it's very big. So I have to put that in perspective so you don't think I'm a animal hoarder. Anyway, there's 7 cats, 3 dogs. 2 of the cats had 11 kittens. So we had 11 kittens in the house, 3 parrots. I'm trying to think of, no, I think that might be all. And then there was 5 people. So they're all safe, every single one of them. But if you'll allow me to share my screen, or maybe I got to do that. Hold on. We can do this screen here. Okay. I'll tell you exactly what happened. All right. So I got a little slide here to say exactly what happened. We had the fire department, or the inspector, came and had to do an investigation into the house, and this is what he basically came back with. And I'll show you the pictures after I explain what happened, because the pictures make more sense once you know what happened. So basically, I don't know if you, oh yeah, you can see my mouse. All right. So this is the fireplace here, and the chimney goes straight up, into out the chimney. So what happens in this fireplace is, it's a fireplace, but then all the coals and the ashes and stuff, there's a little slit down here that all the ashes kind of go into the basement, and they go into kind of like a metal box that when it's all done, you just take the metal box out and you dump it. That way you don't have ashes everywhere in the fireplace, so it never builds up. So it's kind of cool. So what happened is, after the fire burned out and all the ashes came down here, there was actually over the past, this house was built in 1775 is when the house was built. So it's an old house. And since then, there was a shelf system built right next to it. And what happened is, the metal casing here got so hot that it heated up this shelf to the point where it just combusted. And when it combusted, it hit the ceiling of the basement, and it caught the basement kind of just in this little area on fire. But what happened is, it burned through one of these little slats. And with old houses, what ends up happening is they have slats like I forget what you would call them in new houses, but it's just a wooden board that goes all the way down and all the way up, and they're just wooden boards that go all the way down, all the way up, and then there's even like little wood slats that go across, and then on top of these little wood slats that go across is plaster that goes all the way up. And so what happened was, it burned through the wood inside one of the walls, and then because of the wood slats, it basically just caused a fire. It created its own chimney, is what it did, through these little wooden slats. And so I'll show you the pictures of
So,
them.
if I'm understanding you correctly, it was like creating like a tower of fire, but it was unbeknownst to anybody inside the house, because the smoke was escaping up out of the top of the house. So it's not like while this fire is brewing, nobody's aware that it's even happening, right?
That's exactly what's happening. Yeah, exactly. my aunt lives on the second floor, and when she went to bed at about 10:30 at night, um, she mentioned that it smelled like smoke in her room, but you know, when her room is like in this area right here on the second floor, and so when my mom went up to check, she put her hand, against where the fireplace would be, and it was warm, but I mean, it's gonna be warm. We had a fire that night, so it's gonna be warm, so it's not a big deal.
And you had the fireplace going, so the smelling a hint of smoke wasn't really that suspect of a thing
Yeah,
to smell.
it wasn't. If she would have put her hand here, that would have been a different story, but why would you do that? Like why would you put your hand anywhere else other than the fireplace? That's where the fire was. And what happened was at 2 o'clock in the morning, smoke filled up this second floor. And so that's all the smoke detectors in the house. They all went off at once. And so this was at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's how it was detected, is the smoke from the second floor, because that's where it started to congregate. There was, in fact, when I was woken up at 2 in the morning, I'm in the basement, really on this side. There was no smoke, not a lick of it in the basement where the fire actually was. But that's because, like you said, Sagi, is it went right up like like a secondary chimney. And so I'll show you. Here's a picture of the basement, so you can see there's the fireplace, and there was a wood uh, uh, there was wood shelving here. You can see that this is wood shelving down here as well, but this wood shelving is what caught fire, and you can see the ceiling right up here, that caught fire, of the ceiling of the basement, which is the floor of the first floor. And then you have here, so this is the fireplace right here on the right in this picture, right? And you can see, if you look, see all the slats that go across. So you have the wood beams. That's what it is, the wood beams. The wood
Yep.
beams that go all the way up, and then you had these wooden slats that went across, and then there's plaster on top of the wooden slats, and then there was wallpaper. And so the
It's
wood,
almost like it was, you couldn't have designed it more ideal for a fire to have plenty of fuel to get bigger, you know?
that's exactly, yeah. They don't build houses like this anymore, but this is how, yeah. Because of this reason, because of this reason. So this is literally the first floor, and after I mean, look, we still have the fire hose. That's when this picture was taken. The fire hose is still in here, and so it literally went up. But if you notice, that was it. They cut holes. I'll show you the next. This is the other side. So this is the side with the fireplace, and basically we're going to stand right here and take a picture of the other side of the wall. And oh, no, that's not the other side of the wall. Where's the other side of the wall? Oh, I don't have that picture. But basically what they did is they knocked holes in some of the walls to see where the fire was, because they had to take out every single piece of smoking wood, and it was only these two areas here. They went one more over and it was nothing. One more over here and it was nothing. It was only these two slats. It was the most unique thing. So when we go up to the second floor, this is my aunt's room where she said she heard smoke. You can see this is her bureau and stuff. And you can see that they put a hole in this, but there's no burning here. There's no burning. It was only these two. And this is the second floor now, and it went all the way up. And this is the other side of the wall. So that's her room inside there. And so this is the wall, just right on the other side. And so this is the stairs that go to the attic. And you can just, you can just see. And then this is the same. So if we were to look up the stairs, you can see where they busted in some of the walls just to see. Oh, there are the slats. But yeah, it went all the way up and in the basement where my stuff was. So nothing really got burned. There was a lot of smoke damage in the
Yeah.
house. That's
And
what it
yeah,
was.
and even now, still, I bet you still slightly smell it.
Yeah, so I have all my clothes have been washed, and the only thing that still smells like smoke is my linens. Tomorrow I'm gonna go and wash my linens. But for the first couple of days, what ended up happening with us after the fire, we couldn't go back in. I mean, the whole point is, I don't know if you can see, but there's wiring, a lot of wiring that has just been burned up. So now it's just open wires. So they had to not only cut the power off, as they took the power box, whatever that, what do you call that little glass thing? The meter. They took the meter. So they literally just took the meter out. We couldn't, this is unlivable. Um, and so we had to leave the house, which is funny because it is only this area that got burned, but we needed to leave the house because the entire house ended up getting smoke damage. And luckily my mom has a secondary house because she runs basically bed and breakfasts. And so she runs one out of her mansion, and then she runs one from a secondary house that she was just setting up. So they had no furniture, no nothing. And so for the past 2 weeks, I've been lugging furniture into this house to kind of get things set up. And I had no time to like get internet back up. So this house literally had nothing. There wasn't even there wasn't lights in the bathroom. Some of the sinks didn't work yet. Like it was still getting prepared. So now finally every room in this new house is all furnished. Everything looks good. We got the internet in 2 days ago. I think it was Monday. Yesterday. We got internet yesterday. And yeah, so instead of being in a basement, now I'm in an attic. But it's a pretty nice attic. I'm pretty comfortable here. So yeah, that's and as far as like insurance and stuff, oh man, our insurance was awesome because obviously it was ruled accidental. There was no way to know that was going to happen, and so the insurance basically paid for it. Yeah, remember in this house, my 92-year-old grandmother lives here, and so instead of taking her to a house that was completely unfurnished, we put her in a hotel. And so the insurance company straight up just paid for the hotel for like 2.5 weeks, and they're paying for everything. They're managing it all, and it's pretty fantastic. The insurance company is pretty, instead of fighting, they're like asking us, oh, do we need a house to rent out to move into while they fix everything. Oh, curious what kind of parrots. So two of them are macaws, and one of them's a cockatoo. If you wanted to know, there's two macaws. There's a blue and gold macaw, and then there's like one of those multicolored macaws, and then the cockatoo is white, and they all talk relentlessly and scream and bark because we have dogs that I, I can't stand those parrots. But you do what you can. I love all animals.
Yeah,
And
my
so yeah,
dad had a cockatoo when I was a teenager, and he always wanted me to clean out the dang cage. Like I was like, it's not. I don't even like the bird that much. I mean, it's not that I had anything against it, but I just hated always having to clean out the dang cage. And I tell you what, that bird would crack me up. It would get in the mirror. It was so vain the way it would talk to itself in the mirror. You could tell he was just saying to himself, like, I am the shit. Look at me. I look cool. I mean, it just by the way he was behaving, you could tell that he was a very vain bird.
yeah, my birds, they it's funny how they copy with just
Yeah.
the slight little words. Like the funny story is my meme is French for grandmother, and so we're a French family, and so she's my meme, so I'm gonna call her meme from now on. My meme, her and my aunt were supposed to go to Florida, to stay with other family members. It would have been easier for my mom and me while we're getting everything fixed up and everything like that. And some drama happened, and so they decided not to go to Florida. And I started getting upset because my meme was going to come live in this house now that it's all furnished, and it's like, we're not going to be able to do a lot of the things now that she's here because someone's always got to be home. I mean, she's on the ball with everything. She is incredibly smart. She still has her wits. She's funny. She just has a little bit of a mobility problem at 92. You're gonna have that. But um So I kept saying every time my mom wanted to like get something set up for my meme, I kept going, they belong in Florida. They should go to Florida. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Florida for Christmas? I mean, that's awesome, right? And the bird picked up the word Florida. And so now the bird says the word Florida. Just says, goes, Florida.
That's funny. Final Fire made mention in chat. What was the insurance name? Who's the insurance company? Is it a well-known insurance company? You want to give them a shout out for being a?
Sure. There's two companies that I would say are really good. It was Allstate is the company that my mom has insurance for, and she also has, because she runs a bed and breakfast. She actually it's an Airbnb, and so Airbnb, she's covered under the Airbnb, so the insurance even paid for the people who were staying in the house at the time. The insurance paid for their hotels as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was great. So you get that, and then you got another company. It was called Rainbow International, and they're a restoration company. And this being a mansion, my mom has paintings. Very large paintings, and I mean it's well furnished. What you would accept. And so they're taking all the paintings down. They took all the clothes. They took everything, and they're taking very careful um,
Doing painstakingly process of restoring art and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
big task.
That's a big task. Big task. Then they're doing a great job. They're managing the restoration of the house, because it's not just fixing the house. This is a historical house. This is it's part of the historical society. It's got that little placard on the front of the house if you ever seen them. So it's got to be restored to historical conditions, which is very hard.
Or
It's
as much as possible, anyway.
I mean, there are rules that they got to abide by to make it keep it historical.
Well, you wouldn't be so mad if they changed that particular column there, so it's a little, more trustworthy. I'm sure.
No, I think they'll make it the exact same.
Oh wow!
I hate to say it. I mean, they're gonna get rid of the this part at the bottom, or they'll get it. They'll put it back. They'll restore it to original conditions. That's what they'll do.
Right.
The house.
Gotcha.
I forget what the name of the house is, but it's got one of those names. It's the blank house. Like you have the Biltmore house.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean.
This house actually has a name to it, and I forget the name offhand. I've only been here a couple months, but it does. It's got one of those names. So, in fact,
Now, has she just recently acquired this property, or how long has it been in the family? Like generations?
she's had it for 5 years now. She bought it,
Okay.
yeah, 5 years ago, and it's huge. It's beautiful. I mean, it's got like 10-foot ceilings, so maybe even bigger. I mean, they're freaking huge. Everything's huge in this house. In fact, moving to the house where we're at now, everything just seems so small. Everything seems so crowded, when even though it's not. But yeah, that's my story.
All right. Well, man, I'm glad that everybody's okay for sure, and it's very I know I've known people over the course of the years who've experienced house fires. My brother being one of them, and I remember how long it took him to get back in his house. But there was, and like it was only one like room or section that actually caught on fire before, or that burned extensively before the firemen showed up. And usually they're able to, with their fire trucks and whatnot, unless it's totally out of control by the time they get there, they usually can douse them pretty effectively. But it was like you said, the smoke damage it was just so intense. It took forever for them to be able to move back in. It seemed like it was like almost 2.5, 3 months before they could move back into their house.
Yeah, we probably won't be back in until about February. Here's a picture of the house, if you want.
Yeah.
I think it's showing. Yeah. That's a picture of the house. So it's got a big old wraparound porch, and this is where the fire was right here. So that's the room where the fire was. That's the second floor bedroom right there. There's the chimney. So that's the chimney that from the fireplace. So it went all the way up. And yeah, I mean it's so beautiful. This area here is where the they call it the servants' quarters, and you can tell. Look at the difference in the windows. They're like almost half the size of the regular house windows. But yeah, everything on this side is really ornate, and everything over on this side is very basic because servant quarter. But yeah, this is a gorgeous house.
Well, maybe like sometime
Well,
between now and like I don't know next fall, Hebrew and I and Michael Fontaine and Bear Lambskin and Philo Fire, we'll all just plan a weekend retreat at the mansion. What do you say?
Yeah, believe it or not, I keep telling my mom to increase the prices, but I mean, you can get a room here for $20 a night.
Oh wow! Well, that's in my price range. So yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Well, hey, Keith's dad, I just want to say thank you for sharing with us. That's quite the story there, and we are glad. I'm glad, at least. I don't speak for Sagi, but I'm sure if he was here, he would agree with me. Oh wow, you are
Well,
here.
I am here, but
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure I do agree with you.
Then I'd like to say that we are glad that you're okay and everyone made it out okay and your family's alive and well, and so are the animals. And that's an amazing story to share. I mean, it's not amazing. I mean, it's terrible what happened, but I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it had a happy ending.
Yeah. So I'm glad you made it out there, brother, and I'm glad your insurance paid for everything. I mean, usually insurance companies could be a bitch to get to pay for just even one little single thing. I mean, but it seems like you've got good insurance, and they're a good company, both of those companies, and just thank God for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And Philo Fire wants a room with a kitty cat. She said, "Does she have to pay extra for a kitty cat?"
No, they run around everywhere. In fact, most of them end up being outside cats. So in the morning they get let outside. So there's cats roaming the yard all day.
all day,
every day. No, Hebrew, you can't have a room with a pussy in it.
that should be the tagline. That should be the selling point.
I couldn't resist. I just had to say that.
Every room with a pussy, free stay. Not free stay, but every room with a pussy with each stay. How about that? So, now jumping on to another thing I wanted to talk about. Now, everybody knows last week, I was talking about the tornadoes
The tornadoes.
The tornadoes that ripped through Arkansas and they ripped through Missouri and
Kentucky too. Don't forget about Kentucky, my friend.
Well, yeah, Kentucky suffered the worst damage of this tornado, and it was so bad that it actually gained worldwide media attention. And
it was a record-setting F5, I do believe, my friend.
It was an F5, yes, sir.
Wasn't it like 3/4 of a mile wide?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that, and it touched ground for like what was it, 200 miles or something like that? I don't know. It was a lot of distance it covered.
It covered a lot of states. It covered, like I said,
I think it was like 1,000 miles.
Mm-hmm. Covered Arkansas, Kentucky, parts of Missouri, and a little piece of Illinois. So I mean,
yeah. I even have a unique story about the tornadoes in one of the links I shared with you guys.
Really? Well, I want you to share that link, but I want to say there's one news source that kind of, they did a story on it, but they didn't really do a story on it. They handled it badly. Like, over 75 people's lives were lost in this tornado, and it was a very devastating tornado, and it took down historical buildings. It took down dozens of houses. It took down Amazon. It took down the candle factory. It entrapped all those people. And there's no telling how many people were trapped in those buildings during the aftermath. And, you know, the news story that was covering it, I'll go ahead and say it's CNN. This jackass, and you know what jackass I'm talking about, Sagi. You know, good old, huh?
Is it Cuomo?
Mr. Stelzer?
No, the guy with the blue eye. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the guy with the blue eye.
Yeah, him.
I don't watch CNN, man. I
Well,
couldn't tell
I
you.
don't. I mean, I don't either. I mean, I used to years ago, but I know who this guy is. I mean, he's famous. You know, it's
All right. Well, maybe when I see
anyway.
him, I'll know who you're talking about.
Anyway, I want to bring up a clip. This actually took place on Mark Dice's channel, and Anderson Cooper, that's his name.
Oh, there you go.
Anderson Cooper. That,
Okay, yeah, I do know who he is.
and you know, we've shared some of Mark Dice's stuff in the past, and I don't want to be the go-to guy. I don't want him to be the go-to guy for everything, but certainly this, I think this needs to be shared because this is just ridiculous the way they did this. I mean, check this out. Okay, let me go ahead and get my screen up here. So he starts talking about the tornado, and when this happens, check this out. Am I sharing?
Yep, you're sharing.
All right, let me get the sound on.
Kentucky, one of the hardest hit towns in the hardest hit state after one of the deadliest and most destructive.
Hold on, let me back it up just a second.
Kentucky, one of the hardest hit.
Yeah, I'll give you one guess.
Good evening from Mayfield, Kentucky, one of the hardest hit towns in the hardest hit state after one of the deadliest and most destructive tornado outbreaks this country has ever seen. We begin, though, first with breaking news from Washington, where the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th riot hit.
There we go. There we go.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He diverts the attention from the tornado and goes out of nowhere, pulls it out of his ass, the January 6th.
Can we watch that again? Hold on. That took
Like-
a quick turn.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
What?
Like, well, you know,
How did he segue that? Did I miss the segue?
I don't know. It's like, by the way, 75 people are dead, but who gives a fuck? Here's this. You know? Like,
Oh,
yeah, let's watch that one more time, how he just kind of jumps to that.
Hardest hit towns in the hardest hit state after one of the deadliest and most destructive tornado outbreaks this country has ever seen. We begin, though, first with breaking news from Washington, where the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th.
Like, what? Why? Even what? What? Sagi, what do you think of this?
we begin first.
We begin first with January 6th. Really?
Can you
Are-
imagine? Can you imagine? Be like, all right, so out of Sandy Hook, we have many dead from a shooter, but first we
Yeah.
have the we have the cash for clunkers bill has been put out by the Obama administration.
Yeah, could you imagine, like, if they cut away to the Twin Towers getting hit with some piece like this?
Oh, good God.
I mean, just like,
That's
what?
so stupid.
Yeah. I guess we lost Sagi.
riot hit.
I'm here.
So Anderson Cooper flew down to Kentucky, so the tornado damage would be live in the background during his show, only to cover it for 5 seconds before moving on to the breaking news about January 6th. CNN and MSNBC were the only networks to air the kangaroo hearing live, and it was as if Festivus came early this year. Festivus, if you're not familiar with it, it's the fake holiday from the Seinfeld sitcom where one of the characters, George's family, celebrated this hilarious fake holiday, which involved the annual tradition of airing of grievances. So I guess the Democrats have been celebrating Festivus all year, or actually just the last 5 years. What's happening here is Mark Meadows, President Trump's former chief of staff, won't talk to the January 6th committee because he doesn't have to. he's exercising executive privilege, which is sort of like attorney-client privilege, where the president and his inner circle of staff don't have to reveal their private communications to anyone. But the Democrats are having him charged with contempt of Congress because Marxist regimes decide what is and isn't the law, depending on what.
So, yeah, he did that report all but 5 seconds to cut away to some petty issue like this that's not even all about politics, man. Just like,
See, I was going to go the other thing because I have been watching the news. There's not much to do except watch the news. And
right.
I was like, my goodness, if I have to hear about that candle factory one more time, they say they talk about that all the time, but I don't watch CNN. So,
No, but it's crazy. So what are you thinking over there, Sagi?
Well, I mean, it is crazy, and you can always count on CNN to like totally muff a story. I mean, they're really good at that. I mean, I always think of when they're standing in front of burning buildings talking about it's mostly a peaceful protest here today, and in the wake of the George Floyd incident, but we just see cops getting Molotov cocktails thrown at them and raging fires behind me, but it's mostly peaceful protesting that's happening here.
There was another thing that I saw that kind of grinded my gears a little bit, and it had sort of something to do with this sort of story. It had to do with what was that? There was something going on. I think Mark Dice talks about it, but I can't remember exactly what it was. It's like
I threw an image in last minute there while you were playing that of the actual track of the tornado.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you could bring it up on the screen.
You don't have to tell me, pal. I saw it live when it was happening on my local news channel. I was huddled down in the corner somewhere praying to Jesus.
But it's still a rather large line. It looks like it looks bigger than Trump riding a hurricane path with a Sharpie marker.
That's what it was. It had something to do with Trump and Pelosi and something. I forget. But anyway, I'll come back to it later. Let's go ahead and keep on track here, and I'll show that. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Let's check this out. Zoop.
All right, and obviously the red is where it did the most damage.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot of counties, man.
Yeah.
Let's see, down here at the bottom you got I can't even read it. It's a little too blurry, but I think it says Marietta County. And then you can see like the dotted lines for each time it goes through another county.
Oh, Marion County.
Yeah, Marion County. I mean, this is like I don't know. Like can you imagine just drawing a line? I mean, that looks like a scar.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you think of that as like a blade just cutting through the earth there,
I'll show you. This was right in our viewing area. Like when our local news went on, we saw this thing tearing through and they were talking about it. And then when we lost power, well, we didn't lose power, but couple towns over, they lost power in West Frankfort and then Carbondale and then DeSoto. Those are a few towns over. And when they lost power, they went to Facebook. They were live feeding this thing. And just as they were talking about that, we had like up to 60 mile an hour winds hitting the side of our house. And I tell you what's amazing about that is like I got Christmas lights up. I guess you guys seen it. And none of those Christmas lights even so much as got ajar. There was no tree limbs down. We didn't lose power. It's just like it went through it, like it wasn't a tornado, but it was like the strong winds and all that, went through for like less than an hour. Like it was less than even 30 minutes. Like it just went through, and then next thing you know, it was done. And then this thing ripped through edges of not southern Illinois, but eastern Illinois, I think it was, and then ripped through like you see here, all of these counties.
Yeah, and the
all
line goes on even further, and it starts off the screen and it ends off the screen. I mean, this is just like the main center section, but there's more. You know, there was more that happened before and after.
Oh yeah, and you know the thing is, about a week before Sunday, about on Sunday, they had bad storms in that same exact area that took down power lines and trees and stuff like that. And then it's like a few days later on Friday, this happened on Friday night. It hit them again, except this time it was the big tornado. It was like the F5 tornado. Like, who has seen an F5 tornado in their lifetime?
There's been one other one that happened in the 70s, and ironically, it went on a very similar track as that one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you. See, and that's what I talk about when I talk about I don't like storms. I'm not talking about rain and thunder and all that crap. I can deal with that. But when I talk about I don't like storms, I don't like 60 to 80 mile per hour winds. I don't like that. You know,
I've always been the opposite, man. Like I used to want to be a storm chaser. I used to want to get out there and be the guy that, you know, was driving down, you know, the U.S. Route 66, trying to catch up with the funnel cloud 4 miles ahead of me, so I didn't miss the best footage and all that kind of stuff, man. That would be me.
Well, see, what happened to me was several years ago, we had an inland hurricane that swept through the entire area, and it took down trees, it took down power lines, it took down sheds, it took rooftops off of houses. It devastated us, and we lost power for about 2 weeks. And I saw a pool flying across my neighbor's yard, like a literal pool that was filled with water, just rip up from the ground and sweep across the yard. And that was a PTSD experience for me. And I think ever since then, I've been deathly afraid of storms. You know what I mean? So I witnessed that.
Right. I understand. I get it. Now, go ahead. There is an interesting tale, though, to tell from when these storms happened. You want this one that says family photo.
Family photo. Gotcha. Family photo. Where's that at, sir?
It'd be in Wasted Youth right before we went live, but Keystat and I exchanged a couple of messages. It'd be right above that. I put 3 links back to back to back, and I put a little comment next to each one.
What the hell? This looks like an article.
It is an article.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right.
I remember this.
Yeah, tornado launches a family photo 130 miles away, and this is just recently. The debris. Oh, wait, let me go back to the top. Okay, a devastating and deadly long track tornado tore through Kentucky on Friday. The record-breaking storm picked up debris, large and small, and tossed it into the atmosphere like toys. Probably even pools, like Hebrew mentioned. The debris included a treasured family photo, which was sucked up into the storm before fluttering down nearly 130 miles away from the now destroyed city of Dawson Spring, Kentucky, and onto the car of Katie Poston.
Wow.
It almost looked like someone left a note on my car, and then I peeled it off and realized, oh, this is a picture from a family. Poston, a resident of New Albany, Indiana, told AccuWeather national reporter Bill Waddle, I mean, instantly, it was like, this has to be from a home that was hit last night. The photo was a black and white picture of a woman in a striped desk sitting with a little boy in her lap. Came with two clues, a note scrawled on the back with two names and a date saying 1942. And there's the photo.
Mm.
All right, so someone, let me go back. Poston immediately took a picture of the photo and shared it on social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook. Social media sleuths tracked down the family that the photograph belonged to in less than 3 hours. Someone online with the profile name Coley Swatswell commented below Poston's post that the photograph belonged to members of his family in Dawson Springs. Poston plans to deliver the photograph personally, encourages others in the area to scour their yards for family heirlooms that could have been lifted by the monster tornado's ferocious winds. So, can you imagine that a photo traveling 130 miles and landing on someone's car windshield?
No, that's crazy, dude.
That is one indestructible photo.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty amazing story.
That is,
It just goes to show you how. I mean, like I know that like you think of making maybe like a helium balloon when you let it go. Like, is it going to land in Europe or something like that? But I don't know. But just taking a photo and casting it off into the wind, you don't expect it to go more than what, a couple football field lengths, right?
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Devastating tornado, high winds. You know, that's the thing about tornadoes, man, is they can come through and they can quietly like lift up one object, like lift up a house, for example, and sit it, you know, in a neighboring town or something. But then totally go past one house and leave it untouched, you know?
Do you think the photo made it to Oz and then came back down, turned color when it was in Oz,
Oh,
and then
yeah,
came back
probably.
down in black and white?
That's a good question. Yeah. Is it a black and white photo?
Yeah, it's black and white.
Black and
Well,
white photo? Yeah.
I think one corner of the photo has to tap the other corner and say, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home."
Mm.
But I digress.
You digress, but I had an interesting theory that I shared on our last broadcast, if you remember, Sagi.
I do somewhat remember. Refresh my memory even furthermore.
The Wizard of Oz, like the Wizard of Oz is about Dorothy, right? Like she didn't make it. Like, okay, the tornado came and everyone else got into the cellar, right? So and then but not Dorothy. She went back into the house and the door fell and hit her in the head. And when this happened, she actually died. Like, this is my theory, right? My film theory. Like, she died.
Oh
And
yeah,
then,
Oh man, she died.
yeah, she died.
All right, so
And
Dorothy's dead.
Toto died also.
All right, and Toto
And,
died also.
yeah,
And you're killing the little dog too.
the little dog too. No, but my theory is that they landed in purgatory, and then like
That's
because
the county north of like Saskatchewan, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Okay.
you might be right there, right on the nose.
Yeah.
No, but seriously though, guy, it's like what was I saying? Oh yeah, so like
Yeah,
purgatory,
Purgatory County.
right?
Yeah.
So like home, like her home in Kansas, like that's heaven to her, like what she would imagine is her perfect heaven. So she had to get there. So the hills were given to her, but she was sent on a mission while she was in purgatory. And the only way she can get out of purgatory was to take the witch and throw holy water on the witch to melt the witch, and then the witch was then absolved of all sins, and that and itself saved the witch, because the witch was bad, right? Witchery is bad in the Bible and stuff. So Anyway, so she absolved her. She didn't absolve her. Jesus did. But I mean, when she threw the holy water on her, it like it melted her. But then
Well,
like
what about the Good Witch of the North? Is she really bad too?
no. The Good Witch of the North is Dorothy's angel, like her protective angel. What do you call those things?
Guardian angel?
Yeah, guardian angel. And she was the one that was leading her into heaven. Like she was the one that told her, at the end of the movie, how to get to heaven.
Well, what she was on? She told her which subway route was the best one to get home.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
So when she got home, her home is actually heaven, and all the people like Auntie M and Uncle Henry and all the farm hands, like the lion and the tin man and the straw guy, like okay, they were like they were all dead. Like they died years after she died. Like in heaven and hell and purgatory, time has no meaning. So for her, she stayed the same age that she was when she died, and she remembered them as they were when she died. But to them, she died a long time ago, but they just got there. You see
I
what I'm
got.
saying?
You have the most complex dreams that I've ever.
No, this is like a film.
Yeah,
It's a film theory, you know?
yeah. Let's talk about
Oh,
this
it's
a
a
little bit more.
film
So,
theory.
so
Okay.
that makes this. So that's three basic like theories because I can understand that. I get that. So the you have the theory that you mentioned about her dying and going to heaven. Then there's the theory that she actually went to Oz. And then there's the theory that she just got knocked out, had a bit of a dream, and then woke up.
Mhm.
So what evidence would you produce for the death theory that doesn't support any of the other theories?
And then at the end of the day, is it up to like the reader or the audience to
Well, of course.
decide which one they want, which theory they buy into the most?
Yeah, file. I'm an analyst. This is what I do.
The the death theory is like she had the shoes the whole time. Well, she didn't have the shoes the whole time, but she had the power to go home all the time. Like the whole time, all she had to do was click her heels, and her heels represent sort of like her repentance. Like it was under her own power that she could get into heaven, but she had to be guided there by the Good Witch of the North. And the fact that she's dead is the fact that the house went with her and landed on that other witch.
I'll be honest. That is a better theory than the other two in the way that it does solve the major plot hole that no one talks about in the Wizard of Oz. What's the major plot hole, Keith's dad? Um,
Well, what do you mean the major plot hole?
Yeah.
What is the major plot hole?
The major plot hole is Toto. Remember at the beginning, the witch wants or the woman wants to take Toto to the sheriff's office. She's trying to put him in the basket, and then Toto runs away. Right?
Right.
Yeah, running away is not going to change anything. The witch is just going to open the basket, not going to be there, go back and get him again. So in those other two theories of her, she actually went to Oz, and the one that she just had a dream. The witch is coming back for Toto. Right?
Right.
So Toto's a
Right.
goner at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, no matter what.
We don't know what happens to Toto, but it can't be good.
No. Oh no. Yeah, because if it's a dream, then it's a dream. She wakes up and Total's still there. I mean, Miss What's her name's not just going to give up just because there was a tornado. But what if Miss What's her name died during the tornado?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, I always found it weird that the sheriff's department would be like, "Here's a piece of paper. Go get that dog." Who does that? But we have to assume that that's what happened because that's what it looked like it happened. But yeah, I think Toto is a goner in that story.
Yeah.
That's the only not happy ending but you have to. They never cover it. What happens to Toto? The whole beginning of the story no longer applies.
Plus, when she's in Oz, like all of those people that are in her real life are in Oz, and like they're all the different people. They share the same traits. Like we see at the beginning of the movie, the Cowardly Lion, like that guy, he's scared to death, but he acts brave, and then he falls in that pig pen or whatever, and he's like, "Oh my god!" He's scared. And then the Scarecrow actually hits his. We see him hit his hand with the hammer, and he's actually clumsy and just like almost like he doesn't think before he does things. You know what I mean? Like he's got no brains. And then the Tin Man is like he's telling Dorothy, "Get the hell out of that pig pen, you dirty," or whatever he said. He doesn't really say that, but I mean, like, it's almost like he's got no heart, like he's heartless, but he's not heartless. He's just trying to look out for her best interest, And but it does seem like he comes off heartless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Follow Fire. So I am a musical person. I love musicals, and
Oh, yeah.
I have listened to Wicked many, 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 many times. But I have never seen the musical, so no. And what's sad is it is playing here, like next month, and I'm not going to be able
I
to.
do think that Toto, you're talking about that plot hole with Toto. I think that like he went on to write like famous poetry or songs because like
Toto did.
yeah, like the wild dogs cry out in the night as they grow restless, longing for some solitary company. I know what I must do, what's right. As sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti. I mean, you can tell that's Toto. I mean, that's so obviously,
Obvious.
It's going to take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I mean, come on.
You're just reciting lyrics now.
It's from Toto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah.
It's from Toto.
Yeah, and also, I think Toto survived. The dog survived and became famous, and they took all kinds of pictures of Toto, and they even named a breakfast cereal after the dog. So I mean,
No. You said he was dead. You can't go back. You can't bring him back from the dead now.
Well, maybe he got famous after he's dead. See, that's how most artists do.
Oh yeah, that's true. They found Toto's pre-tornado memoirs.
Right?
I think the name of the memoirs was "Bless the Rains Down in Africa," but I'm not really sure.
Oh man. Well, hey, going from goofing around here to the serious. I know you guys are all sick and tired of hearing about Alec Baldwin and the gun and blah blah blah. But last week, I shared a video of John Schneider talking about the gun and how impossible it would be for that hammer to actually go off without actually pulling the trigger. And there's a follow up to that story. He did another video. It seems like this guy is really hell bent on sending Alec Baldwin to the gas chamber, or to at least prove one way or another if he did or didn't.
He's definitely juicing that story for all that it's worth. I have to admit that.
Wait. Maybe I missed this. I don't understand. Even if he did pull the trigger, who cares? It's supposed to be a blank gun.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
It wasn't supposed to have bullets in it ever.
The thing is, like, let's say the prop master or whatever accidentally put a real bullet in there, and then handed him the gun. Now, Sagi said that he picked up the gun from the table without the prop master even like handing it to him. But usually in the movie, the prop master hands you a gun, and you have to you actually are responsible for looking into the gun, making sure that it's like when he handed it to him, he said it's a code gun, right? That's what he said. Code gun, handed it to him. And then the thing is, it was rehearsal. It wasn't even, they weren't even shooting yet. So it's like,
But they were filming the rehearsal.
why would they have any kind of dummy rounds or blanks or anything in the gun? There shouldn't have been anything in there at all, period.
Well, they mentioned that they would during downtime or whatever, they would actually use the guns and shoot them, with live rounds. And so there was live bullets left in the gun.
Right.
That's my understanding of it. But there shouldn't have been. That's the whole point.
Right.
There shouldn't have been. And so Alec Baldwin didn't point a gun knowing it had a live bullet in it. You're not going to get him on anything. I mean, it's,
No. And then the other thing that I watched that John Snyder video, the other thing he mentions in that video is that maybe he was doing it when he picked it up and aimed it and all that kind of stuff at the actual people, that he may have been trying to, as a joke, like do a prank and freak them out, like bang bang, like I got you, but then it really wasn't a joke when real bullets came flying out,
Here's the thing. Any guy who owns guns and has taken gun safety and all that stuff knows that you should treat every gun as an unloaded gun, no matter what. And
as a loaded gun.
oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you. Yeah, a loaded gun. You should treat every gun, no matter what, is a loaded gun. And that's the way I approach gun safety. And I know that Alec Baldwin, he has handled guns on sets before. I mean, he was the Shadow, for crying out loud. So why, he should have known better is the point, I think.
Oh, I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, basically, at this point, how much clout he has as far as getting at the, how much damage control his PR team can do to keep it from ever, to basically make this go away. But I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's going to affect him the rest of his life or his career or whatever. It's something that's going to haunt him, until the day he dies. So. And there's no getting around it. I mean, that's my personal opinion.
Here's what I want to share. I want to share this video clip from John Schneider because I shared the last one where he was explaining, how guns work and all that stuff. And I think he makes some interesting points here, and we could talk about it. I don't have to play the whole video, but we could talk about it and discuss it. So let me go ahead and get it started. And then if you guys have questions.
I knew you were going to make me watch more John Schneider.
Well, honestly, Sagi, I think he does make some good points in this video.
He does. I have to give him that. So let's roll the wonderful bean footage.
All right, here we go.
Many different fields. So I'm going to ask them a question now. Okay. This was a rehearsal. Okay. So in a rehearsal, there is no reason so if I say, we're going to come in, we're going to do a rehearsal, we're going to do this shot. I want to make sure people can see that. Right. So Helena is setting up the shot. And I expect, so now we're in a building, right? We're in a small building, it's a church set. So I come in, somebody says gun is cold, right? So I expect to hear this. I expect that to happen. Okay? That's what I expect, because it's a rehearsal. Okay, because Mr. Baldwin claims that he didn't know anything had gone wrong. So again, I expect, I'm going to dry fire one more time, forgive me. I expect this, and I get this. here's the question. Get in here so that camera can see you, please, if you don't mind being on camera.
I don't mind.
Saudios.
Were you not surprised?
Because I knew you was fixing the shoot. I mean, I knew you said
Not
that.
here. If you were holding this gun and you expected click and you got bang,
Right.
why were you not surprised?
Well, I wasn't surprised if it went off.
Why were you not surprised that gun went off?
One thing is because you should never just dry fire a gun or just shoot it just to see if it's loaded. You should check to see if it's loaded, period.
Yes. But if it went off in your hand,
Right.
would you not be surprised?
I would be very surprised that it went off in my hand.
Then why would you say on national television that you weren't aware anything had gone wrong for 45 minutes?
He had to know the gun shot. There's no way that you can shoot a gun and don't know it
went off.
But if he shot the gun, he had to see the immediate reaction of the people that got shot. So you had to know right then that you shot somebody. As soon as you shot.
You ever hold a balloon and have somebody pop it?
Oh yeah.
It scares the ever-loving crap out of you, doesn't it?
Right.
I would say that would scare you if you expected click
And you got bang.
The size of that hole right there. I think you would have.
Well, here's the other thing, and I agree with most of what he's saying here, but here's the other thing. It is up to the prop master to make sure that gun is, if they're doing a rehearsal, like he says, and during a rehearsal, you wouldn't have anything in the gun whatsoever. And John Schneider knows this for being an experienced actor and making movies himself with guns in them. But if they're trying to set up a shot and they're actually filming, then yeah, you would have either a dummy round in there or a blank in there. But if he's saying that Alec Baldwin said that he didn't react or didn't have any reaction, or even if he, let's say what Sagi said a while ago, playing a prank or something, if he heard bang and then went and looked at them and saw the blood, there would be blood running from their chest immediately, her chest.
Not to mention people screaming and reacting, and yeah.
All right, okay. I'm gonna devil's advocate again here, right?
Okay.
One is, now I'm familiar with, we talked about it just earlier, Broadway, and when you have rehearsals in Broadway, you have different types of rehearsals. And one of the rehearsals is kind of like a full rehearsal where you wear your complete costume and you're doing that. And so it's basically like putting on the show, but it's still called a rehearsal. And I assume that making movies and TV shows and stuff, that you do kind of the same thing, is that way all the nuances of the rehearsal when you go live and stuff like that. And I have a feeling that I don't know whether or not that was the case or not, but I would have expected, one, that Alec Baldwin would have known that there were blanks in the gun, or would have expected that. Heck, he's an actor. It's not like he went to I mean, he probably knows a bit about guns, but I wouldn't expect him to be a master of what people are handing him all the time. I bet you he gets things handed to him and just said, sign this, and he doesn't even know what he's signing. So in this case, it's more of you have to prove guilt. Alec Baldwin doesn't have to prove innocence. And that's what it seems like when I'm listening to him. It's like, well, Alec Baldwin said this. Well, I mean, he can say whatever he wants. He might have pulled the trigger, right? He saw the blood, but assumed somebody else kind of shot, because from his perspective, that gun should not have live bullets in it. So why would you think there was live bullets in it? It'd be like
that's a good point there, Keystad. And also the other thing worth noting is, I mean, we're all doing it all the same. John Snyder is doing it as well. None of us were actually there. We were just going off of what we think happened based on what little information we've been given. But it's not the same as actually being there in the moment and So we're all kind of just speculating as to what we think probably happened. And he's applying a certain level of gun knowledge that's beyond my level of gun knowledge. But
Right.
with all that being said, though, we weren't there. And there will be
You're
an
not that-
investigation. There will be a court case, and it all will eventually come to light. And the whole thing was recorded on video. So if it does go to court and those videos ever surface, then then the I guess the court of public opinion will also come into play a little bit more as well. Then, but that's really all I got to say about it.
I'm not a fan of Alec Baldwin. I'm not. I mean, I don't like his politics at all. But I mean, as far as reasonable doubt is played, I think he's got it in the bag. Reasonable doubt for any charge.
Here's the thing I have. Like, I don't really necessarily agree with that, but I will say this, that when something like that happens, like he may have not have reacted out of shock. Like, let's throw that factor in there too, because
possible, yeah, that's totally possible.
He could have been just totally, stunned that it even happened, that there was a live round in there, like you said. Like, why would there be? And this happened. Like, did this just happen? Did this really just happen? Like, that could have been his way of being sort of like stunned, Yeah,
and you're right. Arum Vorax, if I got that right. Yeah, they always claim. In fact, you remember that show, in the movie, America. Fuck yeah, that.
Yeah,
what movie is that?
Yeah, Free
Team America, right?
Team America. Okay, yeah.
Is that what it was called? But that's exactly what they do. They claim to become experts at all these things because they trained for it in acting school. And yeah, you're absolutely right. That is very funny.
But I want to go ahead and play some more of this and just watch what he's talking about here and what some of these other guys here are talking about, and just
that tree in the background is the weirdest looking tree. Is it sideways? Is that just me?
It looks like it's about that big long huge branch. Yeah, about to fall off. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Craft your pants. You would actually throw the gun and just. And he. Yes. So. Yeah. All right. I don't want to be the only one that says, wait a minute. That to me is the question. Why was he not shocked when that happened? And why
he was in silent shock, maybe, like we talked about.
That someone had been shot. When he's looking at them.
But how do you know he wasn't in shock? We weren't there. We don't know if he was in shock or not.
I mean, well, that's what he told Snuffleupagus.
He said he wasn't aware. I mean, I have to go back and watch the interview to see exactly what he said. But I mean, he didn't necessarily say I'm not in shock.
Right.
And I hate to say it, a bullet hole from a gun like that is not making a huge hole. Well,
that's
not like they'd be gushing blood.
Well, that's what he's going to demonstrate here in a second, just how big the bullet hole is.
Okay.
So, I mean,
I don't understand how you can't think anybody was. I mean, if it's a pistol, it's not like you're shooting 300 yards. So anybody in the close range would automatically know that person had been shot. I mean, we all standing here, if somebody was here and you shot, everybody would know. I'm hit, they would go down. So that's surprising that he's saying that he didn't know anything for 45 minutes. Very surprising.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch that interview because I don't remember him saying that.
He knew the gun was going to go bang.
Okay, here's the part where he talks about it possibly being the prank. What Sagi talked about.
And there's only two logical places to take that is and I don't think he intended to do that, but I do think maybe he's naive enough to have thought you could shoot someone with a blank and scare them.
That's what I was thinking.
And didn't, because I mean, if I thought I was going to get clicked, it's hard for me to do it because I know the gun is going to go off.
Right.
I know where that shell is. So if I had no idea, absolutely no idea whatsoever, and I was expecting, I'm just checking my texts and my emails, and where do you want oh, you want it there? Okay. And I'm expecting, okay, I pull the hammer back, and then I let the hammer back down, and it goes click. That's what I'm expecting. Can I go back to my email now?
Yeah.
Or my text now? Or can I go to the bathroom? Or can I finish my sandwich? Right? But instead, I get that. I don't know why he wasn't surprised.
The question is, did he take the gun and thinking that it was a blank and was going to pull a joke on him? And
there
like,
it is.
hey, wow, like,
well, they were setting the shot up.
Right, and then and not knowing there was a live round in the gun, thinking it was a blank, trying to pull a joke on somebody to scare them.
He's going to joke. He could make sure it was a blank.
You would think so.
You would.
How would he know?
Well,
That's what they
do that. But they ain't supposed to have any live rounds.
They're not supposed to have any live rounds.
But they had a whole bunch of live rounds on the set. So,
but if you pull a trigger,
There it is.
Bang, and you aren't surprised, the only reason I can think of is that you're not surprised is because you expected to get banged.
right.
Anybody have any?
Yeah, you would have to know that. I mean, if you pull a trigger
If
thinking
this
that
guy
it's unloaded,
pull the trigger,
yeah, and it bangs, you know it.
it'll scare me.
Right,
Little 22 snake shot.
right.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking because I think that's the question. I think that's the real question. The real question is not even who. But now the question becomes who loaded it and why. So then, did somebody load the gun? Was somebody told, if it's a prank gone wrong, was somebody told to put a blank in the gun who didn't know what a blank was? Was somebody told?
That's the other point that
Yes.
I want to make also is like whoever is in charge of those of the guns and weapons, they're the ones that load the weapons.
Yeah, somebody is definitely getting fired over this, but I don't think it's him.
And the other thing is, like they said in a statement somewhere, that the person that was on the set that day had only been a weapons, like in charge of the weapons, like for like they hadn't had that much experience with guns. That's from something I heard. I don't know.
What's considered not much experience, like not 20 years in the industry? Because I only had 2 weeks of weapons training in the Marine Corps, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty master at an M16A2.
Right.
I would consider myself above and beyond when it comes to that weapon.
Well,
but I would say they have more training than I do when it comes to guns.
Right. And I
It's still, I mean, if it's your job, it's your job. If you're a professional and that's what you do as a profession is handle weapons, you should be, you're either qualified or you're not. I mean,
right. Yeah.
But yeah, obviously they did have live rounds because they were shooting it during downtime. Somebody made the mistake and didn't take the round out. I mean, that seems obvious to me. Does that not seem obvious that a mistake happened and this gun wasn't cleared like it should have been before it was handed over? That's what it seems like.
Yeah, it sounds to me like it's definitely like something like where a lot of things like there's more than just one thing that was overlooked. It seems like there's a whole checklist that was ignored as far as safety precautions, gun safety precautions, and just the way, common sense. I mean, common sense will take you a long way. I mean, I'm not a gun expert, but I know that I've never had no official gun training, but I know that I wouldn't just pick up any old random gun or, and start aiming it at people and pulling the trigger, even on a movie set without looking and making sure it wasn't loaded first. So, I mean, there is a sense of liability there. Now, whether or not he should be charged with murder or manslaughter or neglect, I mean, I guess that'll be decided in court. But there is he needs to have some degree of accountability for shooting somebody, whether he knew the gun was loaded or not.
I would say one is they can try to charge him. He'll get off. No, there's no way that they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt on any of this. That's why we have this video of just questions. It doesn't matter if there's questions, as long as there's reasonable doubt. That's all that's needed in a courtroom.
Right.
But there was somewhere else I was going with this. Was no, I totally forgot. Must have been a lie.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. I as much as I appreciate John Snyder doing this, because somebody needs to raise the questions, and I know Hebreo's passionate about the subject, but I don't know, man. I'm just kind of getting burned out on it.
Here's what I'm thinking is so take this as an analogy. Now we're talking about guns, right? And the guns, for me, for you, for pretty much most of America, this is a very pointed subject of oh, how could they miss this, how could they miss that? Well, it's the job. It's, to them, a gun is a very common thing. So think of maybe driving a forklift. Have you ever skipped a step when starting that forklift? Have you ever, of course everyone does. You get a little complacent, and it's almost, as bad as it is, it's almost natural in every job to kind of like, I don't need to walk around, because I don't know if you know forklifts at all. You got to walk around the forklift, check the tires, check this, check that. It's almost like a 20-minute process. Do you ever get in the forklift without doing the walk around? Sure, of course you do. Everyone does, and maybe that played in. I mean, that's, again, it just boils down to reasonable doubt. You can make it, as long as you make a case for innocence, that's all that matters. Yes, file a fire. It is 12:03. I'm feeling it.
Trying to see if I could find where they point out the hole that he made.
Oh, right.
With the gun, but hold on, let's see what this is.
Gruesomeness was there.
Be unaware of that hole you did.
There it is.
I find, yeah. Here, folks, you want to see that?
Here we go.
Where is it?
Right there. I mean, just look at the size of that.
That's not the size of a hole it would make in a human being, though. When you I hate to say, when you shoot into a person, it barely makes a hole. This isn't a 12 gauge shotgun. It's a small little 22 round. It's going to barely make a hole. In fact, the skin will cover right back up.
Well, it's a Colt 45.
It's not even going to be a hole, but the blast out will be big. In this case, it probably hit something hard, shattered the bullet, and went everywhere.
Well, it went through her, killed her, and then went into the director that was behind her.
Yeah, the hole out the back would have been probably significant, unless it was like in an arm, and then it could be small.
But I mean,
she went to the hospital, so it must have been something. She died, right? She died.
The cinematographer died, right?
Yeah, so it must have been something in the chest or something like that. So I would assume it made a pretty big hole on the other side.
But what I'm saying is, like, you got a Colt 45. I mean, that's a pretty powerful handgun when you're talking about. Not as powerful as maybe like a Magnum or anything like that, but I would have to say, if it went through the cinematography and the person standing behind her, the director, that's got to be a pretty good size hole. I mean, granted, this is like dirt. Dirt's soft and it's not like human tissue at all. It looks more like mud, actually. So yeah, it's probably going to make a bigger hole in the dirt than it would through a human body, because you got tissue and bone and all that stuff. And like you said, the exit wound's probably bigger than the entry wound. So I'm just pointing that out, That's all.
Okay, so I'm looking at we're not going to share this, but I am looking at a picture of an entry wound for a Colt 45, and it is about smaller than that hole, but I would say dime sized.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking like. It looks dime sized.
Okay. But yeah, I say we're done with that. As far as that goes, I know Sagi's burned out on it, but I just wanted, I just like to. It's interesting how they sort of deal with it. I've known guns my whole life, and I've been around them, and like I said, I don't know about making movies and how they do it on movie sets. I know a little bit from watching behind the scenes and filming amateur movies myself, because we did me and my cousin, we did a few like horror movies where we stabbed each other and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as handling guns on the set goes, all I could say is that the prop master is supposed to be responsible for the gun, supposed to make sure, check and double check it before handing it off to the actor. The actor's not ultimately responsible for what goes in that gun. However, I will say however, as a human being or as an actor, if you're experienced in guns whatsoever, as Alec Baldwin was, because he was a hunter and he handled guns on the set for years, and he should have been checking that. Should have been checking it and checking it twice before actually pointing and firing. That's all I'm saying, coming from experience.
And the ironic thing is he's always quick on social media to be condemning other people about guns and and talking about how he's anti-gun and and whenever there's some type of police shooting or something like that, he's always quick to comment on it. And then when when the shoe's on the other foot, though, it's like, oh brother, but
you can't talk about the hypocrisy. The YouTube police is going to shut us down.
Oh yeah, that's true. But there is a lot of hypocrisy in the fact that it happened to him. That is for sure.
It is that is very terrible. Like anybody else, if it was Pierce Brosnan, no one would bat an eye. But the fact that it was Alec Baldwin.
One could also could come to if you want to get conspiratorial, the case that he was set up, like just to deface him because of his gun politics. I mean, I can see somebody actually going there.
Well, we could go down all kinds of rabbit holes. I mean, there's one rabbit hole to where there was unrest on the set, and they were all confined to small spaces, and they hadn't ate in a week, and there was no there was something else. I forget. It was like no heat or no, not heat. It was hot out there, but I mean, it's like no air condition.
Yeah, and Tiny Tim. I mean, he didn't think there was going to be a turkey on the table. I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah. No, actually, you're right. There was poor conditions, and everybody was tense, and they were constantly getting into arguments. I mean, I think he had actually, not him, but there was threats made on the set as well, if I'm not mistaken.
This is, getting into a little bit of comedy here. This is like equivalent to Greta Thunberg. You know who I'm talking about? Greta.
How dare you?
This is
How dare you?
This is like a video coming out of Greta like driving like a Mustang. Like that's what level this is. This is like Madonna asking a guy to open a jar of pickles. Like this is like this level of hypocrisy.
Right.
All right, so let's move on to. I got another interesting, fun story to share.
Well,
Um,
I'm gonna pop off. I'll let you guys continue. I'll listen, but I do gotta head out.
all
All
right. Well,
right.
thanks for
Well,
joining us, Keystad.
Thanks, and I'll see you, chat. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
all right. Thanks a lot, man. Good to having you on.
Thanks.
All right. So
Okay.
it's a shame that he's going to miss out on the funny hijinks video here. I think he looked at it though before the show. It's the I forget what I called it, but it's the first link in the set of 3.
Oh yeah, you mean the yeah. I know what you mean. All right, let's see here. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Whoa, what is going on here? Whoa, that went sideways fast. What the hell? Okay, let me ask you this.
All right.
Where is it actually? Oh, the money bags. Okay,
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Do 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 do. Do 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 Taco Tuesday tonight. Do do do. Okay. Here we go. Armored truck.
All right, so this recently happened. Dated Saturday, November the 20th. Drivers scramble as cash falls from armored truck on freeway in California. 2 people arrested. Look at this footage.
Yeah, look at that. Oh wow. Throwing money everywhere. Hold on, let me rewind that kind of. Zoop.
Yeah, can you imagine just driving down the road, Taco Tuesday, and then all of a sudden there's money everywhere.
Yeah, should we listen to it or
It's up to you. Totally your decision. I mean,
copyright claim?
it's a local news affiliate. I think you'll probably be okay, but you can never say with 100% certainty.
Well, we'll find out.
The most insane thing I've ever seen. Someone drop money all over the freeway. San Diego has shut down. Literally, it has shut down. Look at the freeway right now. Oh my gosh.
Girl, why? I will be out there picking up the money and recording. Well, that someone wasn't just anyone. It was an armored truck here that spilled all of that money over this busy freeway there. You can see people just gathering it and throwing it in the air. It's not known if these people will face any charges.
Well,
Well,
apparently 2 people ended up getting arrested.
Really?
Yeah, let's read on.
All right.
There are several programs to help Fort Bend County.
Sorry.
All right.
Let's scroll down here. Do-do.
So it says there, drivers scrambled to grab cash Friday morning after bags of money fell out of armored truck on Southern California freeway, authorities said. The incident occurred shortly after 9:15 a.m. on Interstate 5 in Carlsbad as the truck was heading from San Diego to an office at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. One of the doors propped open and the bags of cash fell out. California Highway Patrol Sergeant Curtis Martin said several bags broke open, spreading money, mainly $1 and $20 bills, all over the lanes and bringing freeway to a chaotic halt. A video posted online showed some people laughing and leaping as they held wads of cash. 2 people were arrested at the scene, and Martin warned that any others who are found to have taken the money could face criminal charges. He noted there was plenty of video taken by bystanders at the scene and that the CHP and FBI were investigating. Anyone who took money was urged to bring it to the CHP office in Vista. All right. Go ahead.
Hold on. So CHP should stand for California Highway Patrol, right?
I mean, that's one thing you could say, yeah.
But the TV show was called Chips.
Right.
It was called California highway something patrol. I don't know what the S stands for, but there was an I in there because I know it's called Chips.
Well, yeah, but that's okay. So, yeah, I don't know about all that, but I will tell you this. I mean, if I was driving down there, and I wouldn't be just grabbing the money and throwing it in the air. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's silliness. You're going to be stuffing every pocket of every jacket and pants and your socks and everything, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be videotaping myself doing that. That's for sure.
No, definitely not.
No, I'd be
Yeah.
like, do. Okay, nobody sees this, and then run the hell out of there. That way
For
you don't
sure.
get arrested. You know.
And I don't think anybody should be arrested. I mean, when you see money flying around all over the place, you're not feeling like a criminal. You're feeling like God has blessed you, right?
Yeah, that's free money, man.
Yeah. And I don't. I mean, if the people that were in it, let's say that there were the two people that were arrested, and they had like I don't know $400-500 on them, okay, or however much it was, they should be given the opportunity just to hand it over. Like, just give us the money and no, everything's cool. Now, if they refuse to give them the money, then and they have the money in their possession, and they don't want to admit that it was from there. Like, dude, if you don't just go ahead and say it and give it back, we're going to have to arrest you. Then they chose to go with the arrest route. Then, hey, they deserve to be arrested. But anything short of that, I would say, just give them a chance to come clean and don't arrest anybody. It's not their fault that the door swung open and money started flying out all over the place. And that was their duty to clean up to clean it up, right?
Right. Yeah. They're just keeping the highways clean,
Yeah, they're just trying to, keep a sanitary highway environment.
See, here's the problem with cell phones is like now everyone's why would you film yourself doing that, dude? Just grab it and run, That's the problem. See, you can't get by with shit like that. Like I remember years ago, a Coca-Cola truck. No, it wasn't a Coca-Cola truck. It was a beer truck, actually. I think it was a Budweiser truck. Went off the side of the road and a bunch of beer spilled on the highway, and everyone got free cans of beer. They were stuffing them in their jackets and in their pockets and in their underwear and anywhere they can get it. That's what they were doing. This was the time before cell phones, but I highly doubt people would have been filming themselves doing this. I mean, that's what's wrong with this world today, man. Is people act like idiots.
Like that girl in the video that was literally just so excited and was having so much fun. I mean, I seriously doubt she was one of the ones arrested because
she was just throwing it.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I would hate to think that she ended up behind bars after having such a positive moment there.
She was just throwing it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't think they should have got arrested. I think they should have been rewarded.
Yeah, for sure. And if somebody walked away with like $100 in their pocket and didn't want to turn it in, but that $100 made all the difference for them, and being able to buy groceries this week. I don't fault them one little bit. I really don't.
Speaking of the groceries, that's another story that I saw on Mark Dice's, not Mark Dice. It was on the Quarterling channel that I saw that kind of pissed me off a little bit. It really grinded my gears.
What do you mean it grinded your gears?
Well, let me read this story to you, my friend. And this just goes to show you how dumb and crazy this world has got. How you spell Instacart, Shopper, Smashes, gross, Furries. Oh shit! I totally smashed that up, did I not?
Like an Instacart worker, my friend.
Yeah. Let's see here. No, I'm not getting very good results, but I do have the video.
Well, just tell it to your best of your recollection.
Well, so anyway, I don't have to pull up the video. So there was these old people, right? Senior citizens.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say old people. Um,
Old as dirt, huh?
well, no, don't say that. Come on, man.
Okay. All right.
I gotta go get a soda. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves while I recollect my thought.
All right. Well, before you come back and tell us this tale about these people who are old as F. Yeah. These damn geriatric fools. I'm just kidding. Let's see what chat has to say. Oh, by the way, Michael Fontaine, I see where you commented earlier about sharing something. And I'll tell you the same thing as before. You can't send me stuff during the show and expect me to be able to share it during the show. As much as I appreciate you sending me stuff, I need time to look at it ahead of time because I have to check and make sure that there's no chance there's going to be a copyright claim, that it's appropriate, and just kind of got to do a pre-screening. It's just standard practice, and I will do that though. I will check it out after the show, and I will air it. We'll probably air it on a future show, or there's a good possibility that we will.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so yeah, I'd love for you to send me stuff, but just don't send it, right as we're going live or while we're live, and expect me or us to be able to share it on that particular live.
Yeah, we have to view it and like Sagi said, make sure that it's appropriate for YouTube and all that good stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, and it may even be, and you already know it is, and I get that, but experience has taught me that that's the best way to handle it. Because at the end of the day, Hebrews held accountable for what it gets shown on here, and I like to make sure that it's had a chance to go through all that. But enough about that. Well, go ahead and tell us your story, my friend.
So this blue-haired or green-haired Instacart shopper, and you could tell like she was like a one of those, probably has a proper pronoun in front of her, he, she, they, whatever they are. And so anyway, they were an Instacart shopper for the elderly couple, and I guess there was snow on the ground or something like that, and that probably plays into part of the story. So they show up with the groceries, and they notice that the elderly people have a sign in their yard or in their house or whatever it is that says "I support the badge." So, and they wrote him a dirty little note that said something along the lines of, fuck you guys. You guys are a bunch of racist assholes who, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what all it said on there. I wish I had wrote it down before the show.
I get the gist of it. She was pissed because she's with the woke movement of, taking the police, abolish the police or whatever, and then the old couple was in support of the police. Okay.
So she sent them a dirty note, and not only did she do that, but she took their groceries and smashed them on the ground, stomped on them, and ran over them with her car and drove off.
Now the funny thing is, guess who's going to come pay her a visit?
Who's that?
The police.
Yeah.
She's going to become very well acquainted with them with that kind of behavior.
Yeah, I think that might have been actually what might have happened, and she of course got fired. And this kind of stuff just blows my mind away. The way people are, we were always taught to respect your elders and to treat them with kind, and and just the very fact that they support the police, so what? That
And your
That's when-
politics don't matter when you're doing your job. You know,
Right.
that's it does. Like if let's say like I'm a pizza delivery guy, right? And I show up at the BLM headquarters. I'm going to serve them their pizza just the same as if I'm at the MAGA rally. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no difference to me. I mean, I got to deliver the pizzas you paid for them. Here they are. I mean, you don't have to get your knickers in a twist over somebody's politics when you're doing your job, man.
And I'll tell you more great news is the story went viral, and when it did, somebody set up a GoFundMe page for the couple, and they ended up getting up to $3,000 on GoFundMe. So they not only replaced their groceries, but it gave them a little extra to do whatever it was.
Now they can put out a bigger support the bad sign. Yeah, all right for them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, sometimes when you do things, karma gets you or it backfires, and they got back what they lost by tenfold. And I'm so happy that it turned out to be a happy story, because it could have went south. I mean, it could have been just horrible. I mean, these are people, older people, they only get so much on their social security checks, and they're all on the fixed income. And this was their last $50 for the month. They needed them groceries to get by for the rest of the month. And here comes along what did the Philo Fire say? A Crayola colored what were those people? FEMA, not FEMA. Help me out here, would you?
I'm trying to remember. Is it a recent comment?
Oh, Antifa, an Antifa.
Oh, Antifa. Okay.
I'm not saying she was Antifa, but it's the Antifa type. You know what I'm saying?
I totally understand. She's a political activist. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine her dismay when was she sitting in her cell and or she goes into the and somebody brings in a newspaper article or an image of their new bigger better sign, and all the money that the couple ended up getting because of her antics and her actions. She actually blessed them when her real goal was to terrorize them.
Yeah, and then that's frightening too. I think it frightened them. That's when you got these people, these crazy people acting like crazy people. What would you do? I mean, like you said, if I was a pizza delivery guy, or any kind of delivery guy for that matter, and I saw a big Biden sign up in someone's yard, and I had a job to do, I would deliver the pizza and keep my comments and feelings to myself. That's the way you do when you work for a place. You leave.
Yeah, it's just the way you do business, man. It's not politics aside.
Yeah. So
now it would be a whole different story if he's rude or an asshole, or I've been coming there for every Friday and he's never tipped me once. I'm not gonna. He's gonna be the last stop on my route. I guarantee you that. But I ain't gonna spit on his pizza or anything. Well, probably not.
Well, yeah, probably. How's that go? Probably not, or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So I got one last link. The funny thing is, before the show, I was telling you, I ain't got nothing, man. I ain't got nothing. And here we are, 2 hours and 28 minutes in. I got one more link for you, brother.
Oh wow. Yeah. See, and I told you, man, things happen when things aren't happening.
Well, big shout out to Keith's dad though for coming on and joining us for the first 2 hours. That made a big difference. He definitely is and then everything he had to share. I mean, he definitely helped us out quite a bit this evening.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think we would have got our 2 hours and 30 minutes in if it hadn't been for him, you know? What the heck am I sharing here? Was this it? I guess not. Sagi, are you there?
I forgot about that thing.
Oh, that's not it then, huh? Okay, let me get it off of there. Where's the link? See, I'm lost now. Okay. Inflation, was that it? No. It couldn't have been. Well, let me take that down because you're not talking. Sagi. Come in, Sagi. You're muted up, my friend. I don't know what link I'm supposed to share. What's it about? Just tell me. Give me your first syllable. Uh-oh. Well, let me stop screen sharing. Maybe that'll help. Sagi, can you hear me? Sagi, can you hear me? Do you want to build a snowman? All right. Well, let me give this room a final shout out before I share the final link. Okay. We've had Philo Fire in here, DD74, Lotar 900, otherwise known as bear skin lamb, or bear lamb skin, I should say. We've had Keith's dad, of course, who joined us for a short little while. Well, during most of the broadcast.
Did you get to watch the video? I was gone. I didn't get to see it.
No, I don't. I don't know what link you wanted me to share.
Oh, well, you had it up there on the screen there for a second.
Oh, well, I'll get it here in a second. I'm doing the final shout out.
All right, go ahead.
Vorax was here as well. And let's see here. Oh, yeah, we had Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine. Ooh, yeah.
And Eddie Von Keem was here too. And Honest Hunter Scrooge O'Biden.
Yes.
Fizzy's Petrified Eggnogged Drunk Nuggle Cricket. Oh boy.
Wow. I think they exceeded the character limit for names there.
I think so, yes. And who can forget Bone Breaking Action? Where tacos on a Tuesday are real. And let's see here. That's really all I see right now. I'm scrolling all the way up as far as I can go. Man, we've had a lot of action going on in the chat tonight.
For sure. Yeah, and that link you were about to play from Shifty Sunday, that'd be a good one to end the show with, I think, Hebrew. So whenever you get around to it.
All right, here we go. I still have it up there. I just didn't think that was the one you wanted to share.
Well, it wasn't the one I originally had in mind, but now that I'm thinking about it, that would be a great way. It'd be a good, nice, funny way to end the show, and we could save the other one for some other time. It's like, it's meh compared to that.
All right, cool. Am I sharing my screen now? I guess so. All right, let's rewind that.
Do you know how many bowls of regular inflation you need to eat to equal just one bowl of high inflation? It would take over 30,000 bowls. You need to eat 10 bowls a day, every day for 8.5 years. That's a lot of Biden inflation. If you love Biden inflation, try Fruit Loops and Raisin Brain. Raisin Brain may lower IQ up to 70 points. Do you know how many bowls of regular inflation you need to eat to equal just one bowl of Biden inflation? It would take over 30,000 bowls. You need to eat 10 bowls a day, every day for 8.5 years. That's a lot of Biden inflation.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I gotta say, I got a good chuckle out of that. Let's see what new comments we have here. Brain flakes. Damn right. So, yeah, that pretty much does it for Taco Tuesday. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for being part of the show and for all your nice nifty comments that you've had there. And especially like to thank our special guest, Keith's dad, for coming on and being part of the show as well. And Sagi, I'd like to thank you for being here and hanging out with us as always. You know, you're a big part of the show. If it weren't for you, well, there would be no Taco Tuesday, or at least there would only be half a Taco Tuesday, because it would only be half as good. So do you have any final thoughts? Here, let me stop my screen sharing so you can talk. Sorry. I forgot we tend to lose you when I share my screen. Hey, we got I've from Max Rosetta. Well, hello to you too. Good to see you.
DD74 wants to know if microwave burritos count on a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, I was going to have a microwavable burrito, but I had chicken nuggets instead.
I like microwave burritos, to be quite honest with you. The large ones, you can get it like in the little plastic wrap, at the gas stations and whatnot. Some of those are banging, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't mean to belch. That was totally unprofessional of me. This is a professional show, Sagi.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was semi-professional.
Well, that was a professional belch. So I guess, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have Taco Tuesday. So,
all right. Well, I do want to thank everybody who came by and showed up and is listening now, and also everybody who's listening later. And I'm going to plead to each and every single one of you. We don't ask you for money, and we're not asking you for money. We never have. As far as I know, we never will. But if you could please just share us, hit the like button and share us. Share our link send it to an email to your sister, your mom, your brother-in-law, your Facebook, your Twitter, your TikTok, your whatever it is you use. Share it. We're trying to get more and more people to come join in the fun, my friends. So please share and share alike. And thank you to each and every single one of you for your love and support. And I hope you guys had a good time and enjoyed yourselves. Find a few laughs and also learned something. I don't know how much we really learned tonight, but I hope you had a good time.
All right. With that being said, our next broadcast will either be Shifty Sunday or Suck It Up Saturday. I don't know which, but if we don't have what's that, Sagi?
I was going to say Suck It Up Buttercup Saturday.
Yeah, there you go. I will put an announcement on the bulletin board before it gets closer to Sunday, and if we don't have a Shifty Sunday, then I'll let everybody know. So until that happens, this has been Hebrew 77 for Sagittarically speaking, saying We'll see all you folks next time. Good night, everybody.
That's the end of the show. We hope to see you all again next time for Taco Tuesday. Yeah, Taco Tuesday. Yeah, Taco Tuesday. I said taco. Yeah, Taco Tuesday. So long, everybody. Ha ha. Yeah.